talk a little bit about controlling dirt and fish eyes and getting ready for the final thing, the paint job. First, we're going to make sure that the shop is blown and swept out pretty good before we start to wipe the car down. Then we'll get our final wipe. We've already used our aggressive wipe to clean it good. Now we're going to do the final wipe. Make sure you use 2 rags, one wet and one to dry behind you. Some guys only use one wet, but you got to pick up that material to pick up the contaminants that the solvent floats up. So one wet, one dry. And then after we get her wiped down, we're going to blow and tack. I like to use a used tack rag. Keep it in a sandwich bag, Ziploc. And I have it all bunched up like this. And I'll blow off the car. You can see some of the little lint particles. And I'll tack just ever lightly. You don't scrub with these. If you scrub with these, you'll deposit the beeswax that's in the cheesecloth onto the car. And it will cause a fisheye looking effect. So you just glide it over. Watch for little lint particles. Blow it off lightly. And tack as you go along. And this should pick up stuff. Turn the rag over and bunch it up and use a different surface every now and then so that you're picking up more lint. Then go back over and inspect it again, and you may have to do it again if you see a lot of lint. Dirt comes from a lot of places. Usually from you. That's why I'm wearing this paint suit. Blowing air over the car and wiping with the wax and grease remover impregnates positive ions or negative ions into the body of the car. The little dust particles floating in the air are charged usually positively, and then this becomes a magnet. And the positive particles float toward the car, usually while you're painting, and stick on there because the car is charged with static electricity from rubbing it and blowing air over it. So ground the car. Here I've got a little ground strap that I use for electrical stuff, 2 alligator clips. Usually the car is going to be on jack stands when you paint it, so find a place to hook one clip to the body and one clip to the jack stand and make sure it's grounded. It's not an instantaneous ground. It takes a while for the static charge to dissipate. So that's a good time to go have a can of pop, mix your paint, and get ready while you're doing it. On dry days, it may take several hours, even almost a full day, to discharge the static charge in a body. The bigger the car, the more the charge. Jumper cables work good too. You can use them on a jack stand. Just make sure they're tucked out of the way and don't get in the way of the air hose so that they're underneath the car body. When you're masking the car, we're spraying today's high-dollar urethanes. Use a masking paper that's coated. This is urethane grade. It's got a coating on the back, kind of shiny, and on the front side is a smooth paper finish, so there's very little lint in this, but there's still some lint, so you may still get some particles coming off of this. Fish eyes. Fish eyes come from one source, silicone. Some guys may disagree and say, well, grease and oil do that. Yes, they do, because some greases and oils have silicone in them. Silicone is the only thing that makes fish eyes. So if you're using something in the shop, if you put valve cover gaskets on with silicone gasket cement the day that you're going to paint, you're probably going to have some fish eyes. So ahead of time, get yourself the proper wetting agent or fisheye eliminator for the type of paint you're going to use. And that's about it for cleaning up stuff. One more thing. Before you start painting, wipe the hose down far enough back, and then make sure you don't lay it on the floor between coats. The hose can have dirt and stuff stuck to it, so find a place where you can hang it up on something near the painting area so that you can pick it up and it's not on the floor. But before you start, wipe the hose down.